For this demonstration, we are going to show how to add handrail to the stair we previously input. I am currently at my view center line of stair. If I were to input the handrail at this current location, the handrail would show up at the center line of the stair. So first, I want to change my depth so I get to the location of the handrail at the center line of the C10 by 15.3 channel. So to do this, let's go up to the top here to your relative depth, and let's go negative would take us into the screen. Negative 24 would be half of your stair, 4-foot wide stair, and half of your channel is 1 5/16. So let's go negative 25.3125 inches. And now I should be at basically the center of that channel. So to add in a handrail, we'll go up to Model, Member, Add, and then we'll go to Prompt for Material Type, or F2. On this screen here, you get your basic choices, your beams, your columns, and so on, but you get all these other custom members. So handrail, I have highlighted. Let's go OK. And up on the top of your screen, following your status line here, it says locate top of steel for left end. So for my top of steel, I want to pick the nosing of that first tread, intersection of construction line there, and then zooming back out. On the right end, it's asking for the top of steel on the right end. My right end following my nosing line up to where my top of my tread, or in this case it'll be my nosing of my grating, will be located there. Now next it's asking for, on your reference line, locate top of steel for left end return. On my left end, I am not going to have a return, so I'm just going to pick my right button for return. Now your status line says locate top of steel for right end return. My right end return here, I want to pick this point here, which is actually a construction line that I previously input. That is 2 inches, inch and a half from grid line B. So I have, at that point there, I have 3 foot, and I came back to 2 foot 10 and a half. So you have to put in a construction line at 2 foot 10 and a half or inch and a half back from grid line B. And that will be your second, or your return for your right end. And then you will come up with your member, your handrail edit screen. Now, handrail is, there's a lot of information here. So for this course, we are just going to touch on the basics. There is way too much information here to cover, too many different combinations. So first of all, for our style, we want to go with, you have empty, mesh, and pickets. For this here, we are going to use pickets. Then let's go through, and for add a toe plate, we want no toe plate. We want to add a grab bar. If that is not highlighted or check that box. For your left end, you want to have a post, and your right end, you want to return. We'll cover that in a little bit. And your right end return you want a post also. On the overview screen, or overview tab here, we want to change that to pipe. And let's go to, on your pipe, let's go to inch and a half. Let's go to inch and a quarter, schedule 40, which is inch and a quarter standard. and select that for your top rail. Your post will do the same thing. Pipe and inch and a, let's go to inch and a half standard on everything. Inch and a half standard there, mid rail, pipe, inch and a half standard. And then on the rest of the information, let's leave it as is. Then we'll go to the rails. Your rails are going to be bent at the radius, or bend radius of 1.5 inches. For the rest of the information here, one thing you want to change is your finished floor distance to your rail is going to be 5 inches, and your count for your rail is going to be 1. Next tab is the post and pickets. For the information here, we should be good with our options as shown. Mesh does not apply because we're not doing a mesh rail. Our ends for our top rail, the corner, let's go with the elbow. That's on the left end. On the right end, for your top rail corner, let's go with the elbow. Top rail here, corner, go with the elbow. Next, we'll go to your grab bar, and for the condition, let's go to return to post, and using an elbow. On your right end, same thing, end condition. Let's go return to post. Then we'll go to our toe plate. Our toe plate is grayed out because we do not have one. Our grab bar, vertical distance, your V6. Since we have a 3'6" guardrail, I'll put our grab rail at 3 foot. Our H dimension horizontal, let's go with 3.5. Then we'll go to our main section. Here, what you want to change is your top of support distance to 1 3/4. What that's going to do is when we put in our post or picked our points, we picked the top of our tread from vertical from the top of tread to the top of the channel is 1 3/4. So we'll change that to 1 3/4 to get the correct setback. Then you want to pick for your type, you want to pick base plate, and that'll get your base plate information over here. Then we'll go to our right return. Left return is grayed out since we did not have one. Right return. Same thing here for your type. You want to make sure you pick base plate. We're going to bolt that on. Other options are shown here. A lot of fabricators weld their handrail on, so you could pick welded. But we'll do base plate. Your closure, we're not using them. If your handrail is outside of your stringers, bolt into the webs, you may want to close off the ends of your tubes. Your post, your intermediate post, your post spacings, we're going to leave on auto. So that should be all the changes we want to make. We'll hit OK here. Zoom back out a little bit. And as you can see, I was still in the command, and then I accidentally picked over here. I'm going to escape out. So now I have another handrail over here. I'm going to delete that one. And there's my handrail. So we'll do a process. When you're all done processing, you should be able to zoom in there and see a handrail that looks similar to this here. You can see it'll put the end plates on there. Does a fairly good job. The end one here, if you can see extended over, we can fix that. And up at the top here, it does not put a post in there. Options to get around that. We're not going to cover that in this course here, but for the most part, you get, say, 90-95% of what you need, and from there you can make the necessary changes that you need. It's a lot faster than modeling in every single piece. Same thing here at the top here, this connection here, we can modify that. So if I rotate around here a little bit, just so you can kind of see what's going on, turn my depth back off. Let's see, what do I got going on here? Looking at her upside down, get the right way around. As I zoom in here, you can see my handrail is centered on my stringer, bolted end plates. My grab bar here comes in to my post. And my grab bar up there comes in my post. So now I have the one handrail in. Now I can go back to my 110 elevation. And again, you can see my handrail here. And that is the one handrail. Now the next step is to go back to your model and put in your handrail on the opposite side. So back in the model, at my center line, my stair, my depth. So instead of negative, we'll go 25.3125. We're back out here. And when I put in my member and my handrail, and I pick my left end here, my right end here, my left end return is going to be nothing, so I'm going to right click for return. My left end return, I should say my right end return, there. Again, brings up the screen. All the changes we made from the previous one should be here, should be current. So I'm going to pick my style from pickets to mesh. And then my walk side, I'm on the stringer to the nearest to me now. So my block side is actually the far side of my handrail. So I'm going to change that to far side. And I'm just going to hit OK. And I'm going to right click for return. Scroll out here a little bit. And this handrail here is not correct. Get that one on my way. I'm going to process. Mesh panels take a little bit longer to process. And as you can see now, I've got my mesh panels in there. Now if I rotate this a little bit, I'm going to change my depth back off again. And I can see my one stringer here, still got my picketed. My other stringer here, I've got my mesh panels. There's different options for your mesh panels, which way you want your mesh to go, vertical, parallel with your rail, and so on. So now I've got that side done. Now let's go back to, we're going to just stay in this view here so you can kind of see what's going on. Back to your picketed handrail for your next step. And we want to change your, go back to your overview here. You want to change your type, your handrail type from pipe to tube. And then we want to change this to 2x2x8. You can highlight the material and hit Control C for copy. And then your post, you want to do tube, double click on there, and it's in there. And then your pipe here again to tube for your mid rail, 2x2x8. That'll change all your tube from your main material, top rail, post, mid rail from pipe to tube. Next is to go back to your post, your end information here. So your top rail, at the corner here, right now we've got an elbow. Since we went to tube, we're going to go to mitered. Your top rail corner information here, miter. Top rail here again, miter. Your grab bar, that's still staying with pipe, so we're gonna leave that as elbows. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Process. Now you can see my top rail is a piece of tube, my post is a tube, my mid rail here is a tube. They're mitered here at the corner. As I go up here towards the top, again I've got miter, it's a tube. Here we've got one elbow yet. It made a tube steel elbow. So let's go back here and highlight the rail, double click on it. And on my right return here, under my ends here, joint information is miter. We need to change right here. Still on elbow. So miter and hit OK. Process it again. And that still did not change it. It's my right return. Right end. There it is. Right end. Top rail. I thought we'd change that. Change that back to miter. Hit OK. Again, process. And there you go. So we changed our top rail, post, and mid rail to tube steel. Put one in as picketed, one in as mesh. Again, many options here. Way too many to show, but for an example, there is one option of how to input a stair and how to input handrail.